Yeah, what about on my end? I mean, like screen, like is this good setup wise?
Yeah,
You need
this
me
is
to turn
fine.
it a
Oh,
certain way?
if you can turn it, that would be awesome. But if not, man, no dramas at all. A winner.
Yeah, you tell me, man. I'm in your world.
Sweet.
I'm just living in it.
All right, what's happening, friends? I'm Chris from Punch Drunk MMA News, and the man you see on the screen next to me, wherever he might be, I'm not sure how this works, is the legendary striking coach Eddie Barraco from Xtreme Couture. Eddie, what's been going on? How are you today, mate?
How you doing, partner? Good to be on. Appreciate you.
No dramas. I do want to talk about the results of 270 last weekend before now. But we'll do that in a minute.
Yeah.
First, look, I think you might be one of the busiest striking coaches in the game. So I do genuinely appreciate taking your time to chat. Can you take us through what a regular day looks like for you at the moment?
Honestly, it just depends on the day of the week. My duties range from, dad duties to, being there for all of the fighters at the gym, and the ones that come to visit as well, to all the capacities that we do at the gym. And when I say we, it's because that's the structure of the unit that I feel that we really have there. It's like, to some people, I'm a head coach, and to some people, I'm an assistant, and some people, they just come in and do my practice. And some don't do it at all, and I'm just, positive energy in the room. And we
100%,
all
man.
fill that role for different people in the gym. Myself, Eric, Nate, Dennis, Giff. All those guys, Coach Casey, all the people that facilitate for the fighters. But the guys at Xtreme, we seem to do that well. So Monday, Fridays, I run a morning practice, and then typically if I have my son, which is usually the first half of the week, we got school and schoolwork and all that stuff, sports, whatever's going on. My schedule is kind of dictated around their schedule. So, if they're sparring that day, maybe we do a simulated shakeout, or maybe we meet before sparring and simulate what we would do warming up in the locker room before a fight. Some of them don't want to hit it off. They're sparring that day. Some of them I'll see in the off days, where they're wrestling, and then they can get some striking in as well. Saturdays we have our sickos, which we love. Good old fight sim day. And
They've
so
become
really
a pretty popular hit, the Sicko Saturdays now, huh?
yeah, no, for sure. And for me, I got to give credit where credit's due. And I really first truly learned that fight simulation, even though, everybody had been doing them, but to me, it was like alpha male through those guys,
Mm-hmm.
not alpha male, but through those guys, the guys like Danny Castillo and Uriah, Joseph Benavidez, all those guys that, ran a fight simulation day.
Yeah.
And it was just what we do in our sickos. And, and obviously we modified it and made it our own since then, but it's at its core, it's the same thing. You're just simulating that fight, that up and down and chaos and all that good stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Very nice. Look, last year did finish pretty rough for you guys at XC. I mean, having lost a friend and teammate in Kyle Reyes, obviously, and that was very sudden. First off, look, I do want to pay my respects. The situation, that was just an absolute tragedy all around. I know Kyle kept a pretty fantastic energy about him. How's the mood been at Xtreme Couture since his passing, and what sort of impact did Kyle leave behind on the team?
That's still a tough subject for me to talk
Fair.
about, as far as like not being able to get emotional, but
Yeah.
I love to talk about it because, I wish everybody could have got to experience him as a person. For me, it was very much like when I lost my brother. It's like, hey, you go out now, you got to be the best version of yourself and even better every day to honor their memory. That's all we can control.
Yeah.
I was very close with him. I mean, shoot, he lived in my house. We were roommates the last couple of years. So, I coached him since he came here from Guam, and he was always a pleasure to work with, just like a true inspiration in the gym, an exemplary father and teammate, absolute savage in the cage. We'll definitely miss him always, but we just got to carry on that legacy of his, and everybody does it. I feel like I see it, when I break my practice out, I break it out, boom on 3, 1, 2, 3. And we keep it by, we fist bump the picture when we come in, and You know, we try our best. A lot of people are involved in making sure, you know, his daughter still comes around the team and gets to hang out. You know, Casey O'Neill
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I know him and
Gary
Casey were
Manganish,
fairly
St.
close.
Lion. Yeah, they do that well, you know. So I know Gary
100%.
St. Lion, who fights over in one championship. He's actually his wife and he are taking her to Universal Studios tomorrow. So
Oh, that's wonderful, man. That's wonderful to hear.
yeah,
It really is like a big family there, I guess, isn't it?
yeah, it really is.
Look, yeah, I appreciate the candidness there. We'll move on to a bit of a lighter topic. What does it
Okay.
mean for you to be awarded Gym of the Year in 2021 by MMA Junkie? And as a coach, is that something is that an accolade you put much stock into?
I'll tell you why that one meant so much. Being those guys were so close to Las Vegas and a lot of them here, they truly got to see what we do all year and how many people come in that gym and how we treat them and how the coaches interact with each other and the fighters. And so it was very special to me because I felt like they got a different perspective in the gym than most journalists even
Mm-hmm.
or fans or fight, you know. So it meant everything in that sense because it, you know, part of it validates what you feel, but you know, at the end of the day, whether we're getting Gym of the Year or not, like we're just doing whatever we're doing. So but it was much appreciated and we appreciate that, and I know I certainly did. It kind of, it, you know, it shows that like all the hard work of all the coaches in the gym and all the fighters in the gym and all members in the gym and what we do for the community, maybe, you know, they got to see different sides and aspects to that than
Mm-hmm.
what you would just see on fight night result,
Yeah.
because the fight day result actually speaks to so little what's sometimes going on in the gym. You know, obviously, you know, it does have an impact, but
I guess it'd be nice to have something like that to celebrate, regardless of winning or losing a fight. I guess it's just a cause for celebration, right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It meant a lot for the team. So I know, especially those guys that have been there from very day one, you know, meant the most. So
100%. Moving on to UFC 270 now, that was a bit of a mixed bag in terms of success for the team. I'll start with Cody Stamen, who unfortunately submitted in the first round by Saeed Nurmagomedov. Obviously not the result you were hoping for. You said of the loss, sometimes you can do everything right and the results just don't reflect that. I mean, that's just simply how it goes sometimes. But as a coach, what do you take, if anything, from a loss like that?
I mean, as a coach, you have to sit back and analyze it. First and foremost, it's all about, you know, the fighter and making sure you're there for them in every way, shape, or form. Your job as a coach, and I said it before, it kicks in and it starts at that moment, especially in those moments. As a win, it's much easier to be like, okay, see you later. I'll see you in the gym on Monday. Have fun tonight. Don't do anything stupid. As a loss, like, time to clock in as a coach now, you know, especially, you know, somebody who is so ready and prepared, did everything right all camp, you know, and unfortunately you have another, you know, person on the other side of you that's doing equally everything right, and you know, and that's just how it goes sometimes, you know. A lot of times you'll hear fighters say, you know, I'd rather have gotten in there and been able to at least bang it out for 15 minutes and, you know, hey, maybe I wasn't the better man. But, you know, it's real bittersweet when you get caught in something. It's like, you know, and I know Cody, I know him for a long time. Like, I've never seen him get guillotined. So that's one of those things. And hey, so he's very respectful to Cody's opponent. And, you know, he has that frame. He has those long,
Right.
thin arms. You get in there on that power guillotine like that, and it's just, you know, that's just how it goes. I bet you he hits that a lot. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I
Yeah.
bet you hits that a lot in the gym.
So I'm
But yeah,
assuming
super disappointing, obviously. But Cody's ready. He stayed ready.
that
He
was my next
never
question.
got out of camp,
Yeah.
and you know, he'll take a fight. He'll take a fight this week, next week, if he got the call.
Man, the way things have been going, I wouldn't be surprised if something fell out. So, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
no, he's the true definition of grit and determination. Like, you know, and he's a great person, great teammate to everybody that he trains with. So, you know, great family. So you always want
100%.
the best for people like that.
Yeah. Moving on to a fight with a bit of a happier ending for the team, the Francis Ngannou win, defeating Cyril Gane to retain the heavyweight strap. Obviously, Eric's Francis's head coach. I'm assuming you'll do work together to some degree. What was was the game plan to rely heavily on the grappling going in, or was that something that sort of was implemented after the knee injury became more of an issue?
A lot of that was implemented after the knee injury.
Yeah,
and then Francis is an absolute warrior, and he in his mindset, he's like, knee or not, I'm going to go in there and do what I do.
Yeah.
Smartest thing you see in the fight IQ increase and the level of coaching that was around him, something that Coach Follis used to say is like, if you're not winning the race, change the rules of the race.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying go cheat, but change the race. So the call out or things we would say is like, hey, change the race. Mm-hmm. If you're not winning here in the fight, change the rules, change it up, change where you're fighting at. Continuously adjust. It's MMA. Continuously adjust and find an area where you're winning at, and then do that until you're not, it's not working anymore. And then we're going to try to change the race again. Yeah. So he found that in the wrestling, and fight IQ. It was smart. He did a really good job of doing what he needed to do to get that win.
Did you guys expect him to be so dominant on the ground? I mean, his size is obviously a factor, but is that something that you kind of figured, okay, we're definitely going to have an advantage here?
Yeah, I think we all did, based on size, strength, like a weight advantage come fight night, and then like we see him wrestle, and we see him wrestle high caliber fighters. So we thought that okay, he might be slicker in jiu-jitsu, but we always have that mentality. It's like wrestling's going to nullify that for the most part. Yeah. Even Coach Casey, we've heard him say a million times, it's like the second you're thinking about switching to jiu-jitsu, wrestle another 10, 15 seconds long.
Yeah.
And I say the same thing because of that. And he's a jiu-jitsu coach. So
yeah.
I think good wrestling goes a long way.
So last week there was the announcement that Francis plans to take the 9-month break to get the knee fixed. Firstly, I'd love to get your feelings towards the situation he's in with the UFC at the moment. And second, where do you believe he makes his return? Do you think things get settled with the UFC, or does he move on to boxing in your opinion?
Honestly, I have no idea. Mm-hmm. I also don't know any of the legalities of his contract, or you're a champion now, so it automatically we automatically have to renegotiate. I have no idea. I watch fight film. I study the fights. I show up in the gym. I travel on the road. And outside of that, like once it start getting to management and contract stuff, unless they're asking me my opinion, and I feel like I could give somebody, that I coach an opinion, I have no idea. And I'm certainly not the person to ask about it. But I just want, like, what I want for Francis, I want for everybody. I just want him to be happy and appreciated and successful, and healthy, and whatever he's doing, wherever he's doing it.
Yeah. Fair. I like that answer. That's a good answer. On the note of the knee injury, I mean, that news spread like absolute wildfire throughout fight week. I'm assuming that's partly due to the rumor mill in Vegas. I mean, it reached the opposite camp. There's obviously a lot of pros to living in Vegas, but living and training in Vegas, but what are some of the negative aspects like that you guys at XC would have to deal with somewhat regularly?
Well, I mean, obviously, with the amount of fighters that are here, the amount of coaches that are here, the amount of gyms that are here, people go all over the place to get work with different fighters and different coaches. Hey, I want to go over here and grab him. He used to do my wrestling, but I'm going to go over here to this boxing gym, and my jiu-jitsu school's over in Henderson. And, so I encourage it. I'm definitely not the type of coach that's like, you can't go anywhere. You got to stay here. These are the only people you're going to work with. Yeah. Like, go visit all the phenomenal coaches. Go visit Eddie Shaw. You know what I mean? Like, go visit all these guys. And, guys like, anyway, drawing a blank as I'm continuing that, because
you're always going to leave someone out and upset someone, man.
Yeah, I wanted to start Mark Montoya, you know what I mean? That was the other guy. I was just like, gosh dang it, I can't remember his name right now. But no, you go learn from them and take something back and bring it to the gym, right? Like I'm all in favor of that. But with that, you get people either seeing you wearing a knee brace and then it's over. Because or they see you, at a doctor's office getting treatment because the city is so small. Like honestly, if you removed the strip from Las Vegas, it would just be a tumbleweed town. So it is what it is. So I don't really feel like it'd be fingers to point at anything like that. But I mean, obviously, like somebody saw something and they told somebody who told somebody who told somebody. So, it ended up getting back to the camp. However, it did, I don't know, it'd be pure speculation at my point.
Yeah. A couple more things and I'll let you go for some dinner. Look, I'm a fan of Sean Strickland personally. Obviously, he's training at the gym now. I think he's hilarious, but I can definitely understand why he's not everyone's cup of tea. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like having Sean at the gym and how he's integrated with the rest of the team?
Yeah, honestly, he's been great at the gym. He's been, like a big brother figure to some fighters in there, a motivator. Believe it or not, when he comes over to the cage and starts to help out in cornering, he's really effective and does a good job. I think I told him that the other day. I was like, dude, you can get in the corner for real.
Yeah.
And obviously he's a hard worker and he's a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And that type of mentality and spirit breeds itself when, it's like Eric and I talked about, just setting a bar real high and just keep trying to push each other higher and higher. And then, you want that for the fighters, and the fighters that do it, you want them to stay because they'll keep the bar high, and then people will either get in line, they'll work hard and they'll try to maintain that level, or they'll just fall off, So either way, it's good for us. And honestly, I can't say anything bad about Sean being in the gym. Like, I enjoy his presence in there. He's a funny dude. He's a straight shooter. You get
100%.
what you get, and I respect that.
Yeah, so. I like it as well, mate. I think it's fantastic. He's obviously a fan of some hard sparring as well. Now, he loves it. On the other end of that spectrum, you've got a lot of fighters and coaches nowadays who will do very little or even no sparring at all in lead up to a fight. Where do you fall on that line of thinking?
I would have to ask you, like, who's the fighter, how many fights they had, where they at in their
career. I mean, Max Holloway.
If you get somebody that's starting off.
Yeah. Max Holloway, for an example, is doesn't need it anymore. So you think it's more of it's definitely based on experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys like that seasoned and that veteran, they know they can fight. You don't need to take abuse and punishment, especially to the head. Like, really, at that point, all you're trying to make sure is your cardio's good, your timing's good. All those fast twitch, you're able to get in that fight and see it, and get the adrenaline up, and you get that a couple times, you're good. Once a week, max. I'm saying for people at that level, like when I was coaching Joseph Benavidez, we spar once a week for the most part.
Yeah.
Or spar once a week for the most part. So, most of the fighters that I coach are, they spar once a week.
Yeah.
Some of them spar twice a week, but they're obviously much younger, both in age and their career. So they'll get a lot more benefit out of it there. So I don't think it's like a one size fits all answer. I think it's like, who's the fighter and, where they at in their career.
Moving on to the fight itself with Sean now, what do you see his advantages over someone well-rounded like Jack Manson?
He's just going to have to do what he does. Sean's going to have to go in there and do what he does best. And that's make it gritty and get in his face and not make it comfortable. And that's where he's going to shine. He's going to have to go, he doesn't have to, because obviously sometimes you see somebody showcased and they fight and then they get coined that's all they could do. So, I mean, Sean's a mixed martial artist. So he's going to go out there and put on a show like he always does. And, I'm excited for it. I look forward to seeing him go out there and get a win.
How much of an effect do you think his trash talking in the cage has an effect on opponents? Do you think mind games are obviously a big part of it all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has some effect on a lot of people. Maybe some people don't, but even cracking somebody with your hardest shot and then they just walk through it. Even if they don't show any emotion or they don't say anything, like even that can change the course of a fight too. You see it, but with a lot of shit talking and all that he does, I mean, it's definitely could be dejecting when you're punching him and he's talking while you're punching him and he's just hitting you back, and it's just like
It's demoralizing to a point, isn't it?
Not getting anywhere. It does get like that, for sure. I mean, like Khabib talking to his opponents in his fight while you just can't get up, you're getting suffocated and punched in the mouth, and it's like, props to the guys, and that's why they're fighting at the level that they are, that regardless of all that, they just keep fighting through it, win or lose. That's all you can ask.
On that same card, you've got the young lad Punahele Soriano stepping up against Nick Maximov. How long's Puna been working with you, and what are you expecting to see once the cage door shuts on those two?
But Puna's been at Xtreme for a long, long time. He works with Eric and Nate Pettit, Dennis, those guys, and he not only is just like one of the kindest persons, funniest persons you'll ever meet, but can hit like a absolute, like he's got an atom bomb in his hands. Like, oh, we'll be in the same cage, sharing the cage, I'm working with somebody, and just the sound and the look. Eric was holding pads from the other day, and I was just like, dude, that's devastating, like really devastating. So I look forward to this fight. I think I think he's a dangerous matchup for anybody.
Fair. It'll be a fan favorite of the night, I think, with those two boys.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. After that, next weekend. No, not next weekend. The weekend after. Sorry, I get my 71. I've lost my microphone. 271 with one of the most promising fighters coming out of Australia. How and when did you originally start working with Casey O'Neill?
Casey came out to Vegas to work with B, who fights out of one championship.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like a lot of people that come to Vegas for various reasons, and fortunately for us as a team and, even myself as a coach, she stayed. She never left. So we got to, see her in the gym, and I didn't really work with her at first. There was so much going on with people trying to work with her that I just wanted to sit back and just see how she handled it all. And, as everybody has come to see, like, she obviously handles pressure well, and she does well, and she performs, and she did the same thing. And then, we just kind of slowly started working with each other and, developed that relationship. And, I got to say, it's been a pleasure working with her. She is easily one of the hardest workers, in the gym. Goes out there and fights. You could tell she's mean. She's got that mean streak, which, I feel like is absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And she sets one of those people, again, that I talked about earlier, that sets the standard, and holds herself and other people around her accountable to it. And that's a good thing in this environment, any kind of combative environment.
It's a good mentality to have at the gym.
Yeah. So, we started working together, and, rest was history with that. But it's been a pleasure. She came from Tiger Muay Thai or Thailand. She came out to Vegas directly from there. And those guys out there, Hickman brothers and Alex, the jiu-jitsu coach out there, like good friends of mine, really, really good people. So they had hit me up and were like, hey, she came out here, good people, look out for her. Obviously, she came out for B, and B I've known for a while, worked with her during camps, and she said the same thing. Hey, she's really good people, and they were definitely right.
Very nice.
Bright future for her.
What areas do you feel she's progressed most in since moving to Vegas?
It'd be hard to say, because I feel like she's gotten to showcase, the ground stuff the most, which is understandable for a women's division at that weight. If you look at it statistically, the finish rate, I think the majority of it, 115, 125ers are rear naked chokes. I think the majority of the fights are won. So it's to be expected. she's super dominant in all areas. Like she truly will have an issue, getting sparring partners, that, where you're really both in the same parts of your camp, maybe one not in camp, and then, you can't really get into it, bang, spar real hard, or both are in camp and their weights are different. So she's had to spar with all the guys in the gym, and even then she's fun to watch. She get mean, but she's also a great training partner there, though. So she's there for everybody else around her too as they need her. So and again, like Sean Strickland, like, she's a straight shooter, and I respect that. Like, she's going to tell you how she feels, and I do appreciate that. So, but it'd be hard to say what improved the most. Obviously, as a striking coach, you want to be biased and say, well, she's done this and this and that, and she truly has. She hits extremely hard, for sure, no doubt about it. And you see some of the improvements that she does on the ground, the wrestling stuff now too as well. So I look forward to continuing to see her get to showcase what she truly can do in the fights, where you get to have fights that different matchups and styles make fights, and you get to actually showcase different things, So I think game plan wise and opponent wise in the past has created everybody seeing a specific type of fighter. So we'll see what she's able to go out there and do in this next one.
Yeah, this next one against Roxanne Modafferi, obviously the most experienced sort of person she's faced to date. Where do you see her Casey's advantages being in this fight, and how do you prepare in general for a woman that's a 45-fight veteran standing opposite you?
I mean, fight IQ is something that obviously you want to hold a lot of value to, but with that experience comes an age, and with that age comes a lot of disadvantages, right? So you get somebody at the end of their career versus the middle of their career. It's a completely different fighter. So honestly, I see the advantage going to Casey in every aspect of the fight. I don't see a single area of the fight that I feel she can't dominate, won't dominate. So obviously, plus side, so all that experience is, should be relaxed under pressure, and you should be able to, figure out ways to get around, your opponent's advantages. But I don't know. I just don't see an answer to where Casey wouldn't be dominant in this fight.
Yeah. Any other prospects out of XC we should be keeping an eye on over the next year or so? Who's coming up?
Well, I think I could easily say Colby, who just fought this weekend. Forget the show, real dominant victory. And Mateus Camilo, he's fighting, I want to say, in a week or two. Also another one really to look out for. He's an absolute athletic kid, and does the right things out of the gym, and real tough, hits really hard, good jits. So he's got a fight coming up, and we're excited for that one as well. There's so many, obviously.
I'll put you on the spot here again, haven't I?
No, that's fine. I'm trying to think of amateurs, or somebody that just had their pro debut, as opposed to people that have already been talked about that we know are up and comers. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Those two right off the top of my head, I could say that, watch out for those guys. They're definitely going to be a force to reckon with if they continue to do the right thing and doing what they're doing.
Yeah. And last thing from me, I think today, Eddie, look, you've worked under and with some of the most elite coaches in the sports, from training under Dewey Cooper, obviously, among a heap of others at Xtreme Couture. And then you yourself training someone like James Krause, who's moved on to start his own gym with pretty decent success there. What is it in your mind that sets a great coach apart from a good coach?
Truly being passionate about what you're doing, not forgetting why you started doing it in the first place, and that was for the love of the sport and the love of environment and the camaraderie and the building of the relationships and helping other people achieve their goals. To be a good coach, you could show up to practice, and then when you leave practice, that's it, right? But to be a great coach, you got to care past when the cameras go off, the lights go off in the arena, the gym door closes, and everybody goes home. So I think people you just named, Dewey, James Krause, Eric, guys like that, guys I named previously, guys like Eddie Cha, Mark Montoya.
Robert Follis, obviously, though, left out.
Obviously, Robert Follis. Those are great coaches. Those are some of many examples of great coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's the stuff that you do outside of the gym. And then also being so passionate about the sport that things you're doing outside of the gym, not just for the fighter, apply to the gym, whether it be lesson planning, studying videotape, taking notes, learning yourself as a coach, studying other coaches, Dwayne Ludwig, or, dynamic striking videos, like whatever it is, like you can never stop that learning process to always be a student. Show up at classes and practices in your own gym that other coaches are teaching. I can't tell you how many times, I'll come in and, Forrest Griffin will be in my practice, and that's happened a couple times. It's like, what are you doing here? Or Eric will be in my practice. Coach Nate will be in my practice. And they're there, they're getting reps. Maybe they pick something up. Maybe they hate the whole thing. Either way, they're staying involved in it. So
you're always learning.
Always learning. I think those are some of the things.
Anything else to mention before we wrap up here? Anything you wanted to mention? Anything coming up? Anything you want to plug?
No, I got nothing. I got nothing like that.
That's all right, man. It's no dramas at all. I just thought I'd offer the opportunity.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to make a list for next time. Be like, oh yeah. I got all these plugs right here.
Yeah. All good, man. Look, I really appreciate your time today, Eddie. It's been awesome chatting to you. I really appreciate it. Best of luck over the next couple of weekends, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Cheers,
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Also, thanks for having me on.
No dramas. Thank you.